I like music. Music. Peace, peace. I know it's a little dark. Just jumped on here to holler at the people. Hope everybody having a good night. But I just wanted to jump on here, see how everybody doing. I just want to give you some encouragement for your day. You know, to tell you that your health is your wealth and you must take care of yourself. You must take care of yourself, brothers and sisters. Our health is our wealth. No medicine is going to get you where you need to be. As I tell everybody on this journey that we be on, that your mind and your body and your spirit must agree as one. And we are what we eat. We are what we drink. We are what we believe. And it's so important today, you know? And if I see a lot of my friends, you know, certain things is happening as far as health. And it's a lot of these health issues is what we eating and is what we drinking. I mean, it's like we can either put life in us or we can just fill ourselves up with poison and then think the medicine is going to heal us. You know, just like here in America, a lot of people overeat because we've been Americanized with this lunch, dinner, and breakfast thing. And there's just so much that we need to learn, you know, especially a lot of brothers and sisters that's, you know, overweight. We have to detox from a lot of foods. We have to detox from a lot of drinks. Especially, I tell brothers and sisters, if you're trying to get in good shape and lose weight, you need to sustain from all meats, all sugary drinks, all genetically modified organisms. You need to move away from that. And you don't need supplements. You don't need none of those things. If people follow me and follow my workout page and see what I eat and drink and how I work out every day, you don't need no supplements. You don't need any Mega Men pills or none of that. Because if you eating to live, you can get everything from Mother Earth. And you don't have to have any foreign substance. You don't. Because everything you can get the nutrients, the nutrients that you need from fruits and vegetables and other, different grains that works with the body as fuel and not as poison or waste. And these are just some things that I always try to, as my spiritual life go on, I say, what is your spirituality that keeps you going? Because a lot of things that we eat today, it wasn't considered food, brothers and sisters. It wasn't, a lot of things we do wasn't considered food. So now today you look at a lot of melanated people, they have diabetes, high blood pressure, gout, all that's from foodborne diseases. It's almost the analogy, man, when I know everybody's seen soul food. And in a lot of the misnomer black communities, we eat a lot of things that's not food. We ate a lot of things because we had to survive. And so when you watch soul food, you will see how they come together and eat those things that's detrimental to life. And after Big Mama have to get part of her body cut off due to food and, diabetes, etc., what do the children do? We celebrate and we eat the same food that killed Big Mama. And that's all I tell brothers and sisters. Some things we need to change. A lot of things that's what tradition, that don't mean it's law. Tradition meaning that's what people done, and maybe people done things to survive. But now we know. And when you know better, we can do better. When a lot of my Islamic brothers, I love them all. I love all my Islam brothers. I love my Christian brothers, but I teach them. And I say, you got to stop letting people separate you. Eat to live is just a kosher diet. It's a kosher diet. Muslims eat meat, but then they say halal, meaning they pray over it and make it right. But we're under a kosher diet, meaning the animal is one raised, and then the animal is killed a certain way. And we have to know these things, because man only knows what he knows. Understand that. Man only knows what he or she knows or what you were taught. And when you're limited, you're just limited. And that's what resurrection, looks like when we share things with our brothers and sisters. When we say we don't let religion hold us back, because religion separates us. It's a certain culture that we have. It's a certain understanding that we should have. And most melanated, misnomer black people, we really don't know who we are. And you look on social media, you see us arguing with each other. You see these different internet people, misnomer black people, you're going to see them debating each other and versing each other. You're never going to see European, Albion, Trailer Knights, whatever you want to call them, doing that. Because there's no use. That's like I tell people, if you're a scholar and you're dealing with peer-reviewed scholarly research, it's only one word. It's only one science. It's only one atmosphere. It's not two. So when you have two brothers debating things, what they're debating is their belief system. And your belief can be based on a lie. Let me give you an analogy. You got these two brothers, and I don't want to say names, but one brother, I know he from Detroit, he be talking crazy. You got the other brother that be saying the man should take care of women and all this, and he make his little supplement. It's called Apple of Eve. And these two brothers are going to debate. But what they're going to debate? Their personal preferences. So two brothers are going to debate personal preferences. And then you have a whole bunch of melanated men and women that's going to pick sides on their personal preferences, not proving nothing. Once again, But that's what we do in our society. The internet, what it's done, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry to make us look stupid, to make us look competitive. Just like all these little skits and on TikTok, when you will see a dude go to the neighborhood and he'll say, dude goes into a neighborhood with an expensive watch on. And the watch will be fake. And you see what every melanated brother do or misnumbered black dude, they want to rob him. Or the dude go to the neighborhood with fake money in the backpack. You see how we act like animals against each other. This is propaganda. This is what they want to see. They showing this. They saying you ain't safe around Negroes. Why? Because they'll take something. I hope brothers and sisters, and then the women, they all naked and show booty. That's all what it is. So this is what the programming is about on the internet. That's the algorithm. That's the algorithm. Confusion. And so it's popular because it's a multi-million-dollar industry to make the misnomer black man look like a beast. Back in scholarship, it's a book called The Negro is a Beast. I lectured it in academia. And it's just like in prison. I'm right now I'm back in Flint, Michigan, but I reside in Arizona and I reside in Vegas as well. And I go to a lot of the prisons. And when I'm back home, I go to the Thumb Correctional Facility a lot. But I've been to Tent City and I talk to a lot of prisoners. And I tell a lot of brothers, why in prison, it's like a dog-eat-dog world. Why? Why is brothers against each other, Crips and Bloods? And some brothers have to find their righteousness in prison. And I say we don't have to do that. That's why I said the resurrection for who we are, understanding who we are, understanding how we eat, understand how we think. Religion has separated brothers and sisters. You got brothers that look just like you that call themselves Al-Islam, Hebrew Israelite, Black Mason, Christian, all those things. And I said, why do we debate these things? Nobody can tell you who you are. Nobody can tell you what blood is running in your veins and your mother's and father's background. People are really sitting arguing, telling us we all are something. How do somebody know who you are? You should know your tribe. Hell, the history is 5 civilized tribes, and they don't have nothing to do with no Hebrew Israelite. We talking about law and history and things. I understand biblical science. I'm a scholar, but I'm a historian as well. You have to understand that this world is huge. Huge. And then you're dealing with different dispensations of time as well. So we have to get to the point of unifying and coming together, which I like to call solidarity. Even current today, the Kappa, the Q, and like I said, the so-called Hebrew Israelite, the so-called Black Mason, man, it got to be some things that we have to agree to. If not, then what is the mission? We have so much, man, but we scatter. And we are letting religion separate us. You might have somebody in your family that's a Jehovah's Witness, and somebody else might be Christian or Muslim, and they won't even deal with each other because religion. And y'all reading the same book. Look at the irony in that. Look at the psychosis in that. You got 2, 3 individuals that study the same book, but you think it's something totally different. How can you come up with that? That's arbitrary. And that makes a person look real crazy. No way you can just make things up and say, well, this is how I believe. Well, that's a belief system. I know I'm not on the camera, Empress. I know I'm not. That's a belief system. And when you sit down, I've had the pleasure to lecture in academia with all different type of religions, and my oral dissertation One, that I proved that the misnomer black man was the father of civilization, proved by the Bible alone. But then when we start having a civilized conversation with these religious people, trying to tell you all the people is this, I don't understand where you get that from. And it's not scholarship. That's a belief system. And people not breaking down language, they're not breaking down etymology. They're telling you that you are this based off some, 12 tribe list. And the 12 tribe is just a landmass. Things need to be discussed historically and spiritually so you can start understanding some real things. So you can start synchronizing science, because religion should not separate us. Semantics is being played. You got the Christian and the Muslim, and both of them have the same forefathers. What's be different? Just small little things. Just like in the Bible, they left certain things in the Bible for those certain ones to convert. But when you have a clear understanding of who you are, which most of us don't understand who we are. Because when we say black, you have to understand, according to science and law, black means death. Black is civil mortis. Black has no standing in law. Black is an adjective. These are facts. So if we dealing with facts, it's some things that we have to understand. And so when I deal with my Christian brother, when I deal with my Islam brother and sister, when I break down the Bible and the Quran and I say these go hand in hand, I synchronize them. You just lost in mistranslation. I'm telling y'all, man, it's so much to be said because we Xing ourselves out. Us. We Xing ourselves out. How? Under man-made religion. We are under man-made religion, and it's coming to a sad point. And we still don't understand solidarity. And it's very sad. We always talk about some white man there. The white man don't have that much power to do nothing. Just like Carter G. Woodson was saying, this is what? The miseducation of the Negro. You have to blame your own teachers, your own preachers, you have to blame them. I know people in families that dad was Masons and you don't know nothing. And I said, well, your dad know what I'm talking about. He just ain't gonna tell you because he under an oath. Because the first house your dad went through, or your uncle or your brother, whoever they is, they went through the Christian house. The last house was Islam, and they know it. That's why they the joke of masonry. That's why the misnomer black mason only Prince Hall, and they'll tell you that they some damn widow son, which is the dumbest thing in the world. And every European mason would tell you that they are a son of a Muslim. But here it is, your brother that's melanated go around and tell you that he's some goofy widow son. Like, really? Like, really? You are a widow son and play a stupid game with you. That's why I tell my brothers and sisters, man, our eyes need to be open. We should have some common denominator, but we all separate in one little hood. Just like I'm back home in my city of Flint, Michigan. It ain't that much going on in the world for people to be separate. People are in their feelings. Everything operate on a feeling. You need the right people. You don't vote for people that you just like or because you went to high school with them or they can sing good. You need the right people with the skills and the ability and the background to do it. This is more than just a popularity contest. When I ask people what's the agenda, they don't know. When I talk about the electoral college, when I speak about things, when I talk about law and policy, the average person don't know. When I ask them, why did they vote Democrat? Why did they vote Republic? And if they got your vote, okay, then what's the agenda? Just most of my people, they say they vote Democrat. And I say, well, what's the Democratic agenda? You can't even tell me. You can't, because the only thing that most people don't like is the way Trump speak. Because I can show you a lot of the same stuff Trump is talking about now. Obama did it. Obama shipped so many people out of the country than Trump did. When I tell y'all, I say, get out of your feelings. When we get out of our feelings, then we can deal with the facts. And then you understand that you don't have, you vote for what? law and policy. You vote for law and policy, and that's it. You have a clear understanding. But most of my people don't. Why? Because we're under a false pretense of understanding. We don't support nothing. We complain. I can literally predict what's going to happen, and it happens every time. Just like I was doing a teaching, and I was coming from a book. It was called Without Sanctuary. And it's a book how all these European Albions, Trailer Dyke was hanging misnomer black people. And a lot of these families are still around. I said, I'm going to be shot. I said, Facebook gon' block me. Sure enough, just suspended me for 30 days. But if I would have been on there showing some killing and robbing or have a whole bunch of girls with their booties out and they breasts out, shoot, I'll probably have thousands of views. Me and my emperor was watching on social media, dude on his hospital bed talking about my nephew brought me a girl, to the hotel. I mean, to the room. To the hospital. And she on him naked, dancing. And it's on the internet. This is what I'm saying. They always want us to be combative with each other and controversy. They want us to be arguing with each other and controversy. And we love it. We love the stupid stuff. But it's only one science and it's only one history and it's only one law. And if everybody's so smart and got PhDs when they talk that back to Africa and all that, I ain't back. I'm not African. I'm an American. I have tribal land, just like my empress. My empress' great grandmother was a noble woman. Water turban with the curly Q. You see like Superman, that's where he got that from. They steal everything. They steal all the likeness and then put it in cartoons. I'm trying to tell you what I know. I'm an American. The land of the free, the home of the brave. And there's so much history that like my mother was saying, she was like, son, you all the way up here. A lot of our people are down here. And she was like, continue to bring them up. And I'm showing us. I'm giving us peer-reviewed scholarly research. And I'm not coming from no hateful place. I'm not coming like no person saying no European is the enemy. How is the European the enemy? And what these Muslims don't want to be honest about is most of that the Quran is Jewish literature. Most of them Masons. Most of them were Masons or had to start their own. It's a lot that our brothers and sisters don't know because they got us scattered because we don't know who we are. Because we don't know who we are. I never seen no Europeans on social media arguing with each other. One believe in this religion and the other believe in this religion, and they on there arguing and debating. Never. I only see Negroes doing that. And then, and everybody know that stuff. That stuff come from a lot of that conscious community stuff when brothers debating each other. And I tell people, I said, that's what this has came to. And that's not how we promulgate science. That's not how we teach anything. I just hope in my lifetime, I see a change, from the work that I continue to do, and try to spread, and especially back here in my city of Flint to get this brick and mortar. It's just so much stuff that just sitting around that should just be given to people that really have ideas, But it is contingent on the people. But families, man, like my whole thing, families need to support and push. Because everybody say they believe in something. So if you believe in spirituality and all this, here it is, the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple of School is a place is unbiasedness where we teach. We teach the biblical scriptures. We teach history, our story, all history. We teach finance. We teach you to know exactly who you are and the God within. We don't come from no biased place because I have a lot of colleagues that's different nationality from me. I'm gonna leave y'all with a little something to research. I was watching I was watching a movie last night, me and my dad. I think it was called Unseen. I think. And it was these Aryans, these clansmen, right? And they robbed the bank, whatever. But make a long story short, you know the Ku Klux Klan, they say the Christianity is for the white man only. This, not, and the other. But the preacher was preaching, and he was like, the promised land is not for the Jews. He said the promised land is for the Israelites. And he said the Israelites is the Caucasian, the white man. Now, this is what I want to, I always leave this conversation open for brothers and sisters, because a lot of them brothers that's Hebrew Israelites, they argue, and I don't have time to argue with nobody that's screaming scripture, because that's a waste of my time. But I will leave you with this conversation and research. So, you know who Joseph was, and Joseph's 12 sons, right? So, the biblical scripture, and I lectured this before, but I want you to research this. So when they go to Canaan land, where Joseph at, they were Chaldeans. They were Chaldeans, right? Okay. Now, who were these people that come to an area, a continent of Africa, to a certain area, and your God says that this is your land per se, and you slaughter and kill everybody, all the kids of fighting age, you kill them babies, everything. And then after you do all that act and crossover per se, you say they Hebrews. Now Hebrew is just an act of something been done. These were Joseph lineages. My bloodline don't change. My dad don't change. So who are these people that killed all these people and converted them? Because people be, and when you see the Hebrew Israelite, that's the story they say. They God gave it. So are you telling me you went to the continent of Africa and killed your brother? Because that's why you hear a lot of them Hebrew Israelites, they'll be saying that they don't have nothing in common with the African brother, or they got more in common with a European. I've heard them say that. Not all camps, but I've heard some say it, and I got them saved. The irony of that. So who were these people that went to Canaan land and slaughtered the Chaldeans? And then that act, you say you Hebrews. So who were those Israelites? What blood? Who were they? Who were those people that did that? So, like I said, it was an execution of a whole family, of a whole bloodline. Of who? The Chaldeans. I mean, what we talking about? When everybody talk about this, oh, slavery with this and Deuteronomy this. Okay, Hebrew Israelite brother, with all love and respect, who were the Israelites that you say, who were them? Was that your lineage that you say that everybody a Hebrew Israelite? That slaughtered the Chaldeans and Canaan said that your God ordained you to do that? That's all I ask, my brothers, with love. And they say, well, and I say, well, you see? And when I deal with biblical scholarship, when I start bringing all the books to the Bible and things, and I say it's easy to, how can I say, what's the word I want to use? Let me see. It's easy to be biased with some information. How? When you know, or when you don't have nothing to compare to, or a person can't bring it, and you just scream in scripture. Because in the biblical scripture, it's a whole bunch of families: the Levites, the Hittites, the Amalekites, the Amorites. I mean, I can go on and on and on. I'm just naming a few. I can go on and on and on. I've lectured this a plethora of times. So you telling me it was a genocide of a whole family? Who was these people that was murdered and slaughtered, and the babies and the children? Who were those people? Those people were what? Melanated people. That was Joseph, right? There was the Chaldeans. So who slaughtered all them Chaldeans? Who? You know, when they trying to say everybody is this, I say you can't say what everybody else is because I say, well, I'm from the tribe of Judah, lineage of David by blood. If they want to say that Jesus supposed to spring from what? The tribe of Judah. Mother Mary spring from what? The tribe of Judah. So how are you trying to say everybody's Hebrew Israelite? Israelites in the Bible, yes, we can. If we just want to play semantics, we can say Israelites. But all that, when you know the origin of the word, and the etymology of the word, Hebrew is just the act, and it's no disrespect to no one. But I won't get into arguing with no one, especially no brother that all they do is base their understanding on religion. And I say I'm not gonna have a religious dogmatic conversation with a person. I would never do that because I'm gonna deal with the root and the origin of words. Even when I deal with my Islamic brothers, when I look at the language, I say you have to check the scholars that you say that wrote the language. Because if the language off based off the alphabet, then the scholars can be checked. And that's when I say it's a lot of work that's been done, and a lot of people can be sincere, but you can be sincerely wrong. A lot of stuff has been misinterpreted on purpose, maybe, you know what I mean? Sincerely wrong, yes, on both levels, but that's the work that's been done. And we were able to do that. And others before me have done the work already. You know, we may not have been introduced to it. That's why I share everything with everybody. When everybody be asking me, I say, listen, I say, that's not it. Once we deal with the Semitic language, once we deal with the Aramaic language, once we deal with ancient language, which we think they're saying, it can be cross-referenced. And that's all I be asking my brothers and sisters. I say, okay, well, who was those group of people that slaughtered the Chaldeans, went to Canaan land? You say the Hebrew Israelites, everybody the Hebrew Israelite. Okay, well, who was these Israelites that killed all these people? That was Joseph's family. That was the continent of Africa. Them was Chaldeans. So you telling me God is a God that'll have you go slaughter your own brother? Because see, if that's the case, then what we talking with then we okay with what? Genocide. When we always try to talk about this as in the Bible, when those religious Hebrews try to use Deuteronomy and say it's talking about us, we was in bondage. Okay, if that's the case, you losing me. You losing me, man. It's like crying wolf. It's like crying wolf. It's like crying wolf. That's all I ask my brothers and sisters. Who were those people that went to a certain area that was already occupied, Canaanite, Chaldeans? So who were the people that slaughtered all them? The babies, the kids of fighting age. Who was those people that slaughtered them? Who were the people that did all the killing? That's all I ask. That's all I ask. I'd be like, man, why a person be trying to yell all the time? I said, that's the problem. And then a lot of people be spewing hate. I say, man, if nobody had time for that. It's way bigger than that. And then I love my Al Islam brothers. But see, they don't know that I know about Dianetics and Ron L. Hubbard. I know what's going on with that and how a lot of Muslims under that. But yeah, here nor there, you know? And they always trying to say this person is the devil and this and that. And then the Al Islam, when they talk about Fire Muhammad, when they act like they don't really know too much about him, but then you know so much about him, but then they don't know too much. But then our Prophet Noble Drew Ali was before all their time. And everybody know what's going on. And everything is a secret, but we're not even going to go there. We're going to keep it all peaceful and love because that's where we're going. But I always want us to tell us we a whole bunch. And can't nobody tell you who you are. I can't tell you who you are, but today as a people, we'll have to agree to something on paper per se. when I talk about Moors, and then you talk about the Moors killed this. No, man, we ain't. The Moors did that. Listen, let's sit down and have a real educational conversation. That was Leopold from Belgium. He used the fez as part of his uniform, just like Hitler. His regiment was Al Islam, and they were the fez, and they studied Islam. All you have to do is pull the pictures up. So you have to start dealing with some historical things. But look at it today. Negroes kill Negroes today. My brother that killed Jelani Goodman Bay was murdered by somebody that looked like us. And then that's what I'm seeing that happened in the Bible. When all these brothers be talking about we all the Hebrew Israelites. No, we all ain't. No, we all not. But I understand. I have an understanding, but all I ask a brother, who was the people that went to Canaan land in the Bible and killed the Chaldeans? Who were those people? Who was those people? Was it you? And that's why you so mad and angry at the misnomer African in Africa, and say you have more in common, that no disrespect, with a European than your brother in Africa. And then now let's do some scientific facts. This is how, when you know brothers don't study history and science and dealing with real things, and a lot of people just be talking, and you see how a lot of us under a belief system, and we can't just deal with what's right. We deal with characters, and I'm not calling nobody a character. I'm saying character mean in the aspect of this is who you like, not based on the facts that they're saying, but you just like them just because. Now, scientifically, DNA, the misnomer black man has no Neanderthal DNA. Zero. The misnomer black man has no Neanderthal DNA. So how can a religious Hebrew Israelite brother say he has more in common or anything genetically or whatever with a European or Albion and a Trelodite? And a Trelodite today has a couple percentages of Neanderthal DNA in him. How could you say that out of your mouth? How? In front of a young brother from Africa, having a conversation. That's why I said we don't spew hate here. I teach you history and who you are. I teach you law. I ask everybody, look up the Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15, and tell me what that says. Take the time to do some research. The Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15, clearly says that you have a right of a nationality and the right to change it. No one will be arbitrarily denied of a nationality and a right to change it. And the claim of child replaces the birth certificate. This is not anything I've made up. Just like when I talk about the Constitution with the 20 sections. I say we have to agree to some things. And if we use in the biblical scriptures, you have to let somebody say, have a conversation and see what this man is talking about. This man is breaking something down. History and spirituality have to go hand in hand. The Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15, the religious right of indigenous people. You have the right to not to assimilate. You have the right to wear your religious regalia. You have the right to use public utility facilities to promulgate and righteously. House Joint Resolution 75. You have the right to annex your L and your Bay or your Day. These are laws that has never changed. I tell you, do you know what the doctrine of the discovery was? Do you know what the doctrine of the discovery was? Do you know what the papal bull was? Do you know what the dum diversis was? Research these things. Research these things, these dispensations in history, and then we can have a clear conversation and you will see. When I talk about if the Moors ruled Spain for over 700 years, well, then where they at? They ain't just all disappear. When we talk about Arab, you say, well, the Moors are the Arab. No, Moors, no, that's not true. I can give you, man, listen. Vladimir Dale, Vladimir Dale, he's a Russian. He wrote a dictionary. He tell you what an ARAP is, the ARAP, not ARAB, melanated, ARAP. And then Bertram Thomas. Bertram Thomas wrote so many books. The Arabian Nights. He wrote a book called the Arab, the ancient Arab. And Bertram Thomas was a European. He stayed with them. He tell you who the ancient Arab is. The Book of Mormon tell you who the indigenous people is, the Indian is. The Book of Mormon was plagiarized from the view of the Hebrews. So when I deal with history and science today, at modern, for us to understand it and to agree, we have to agree who we are. Everybody have to know the Moorish Science Temple of America is solid. I have my own temple in school, but I'm part of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and I have conferred degrees through the temple. I'm an educator in real life. It's the Moorish Science Temple of America is historic. The Moorish Science Temple of America in Flint, Michigan, pull it up. A lot of the brothers don't be there because they in shambles. In Allah's will, I'm gonna try to get it back together. If not, that's what I'm here for, to get my own thing going on, because it's a lot of stuff available. But to make a long story short, everybody got it. What the prophet did was solid. A lot of us just didn't know. A lot of us may have known. But the stuff that's happening now is not more science. It's sovereign citizen criminal behavior. It's the right way to do things. And I tell everybody, we are not Negro, Black, and Color, or African American. That's why I say it has to be something that we have to agree to. It has to be. We're not gonna. I promise you. I will have a conversation with any lawyer, any politician, anyone. Especially a lawyer. Don Crump, that always fighting for when misnomer black people happen. And I bet you, I say, well, black has no standing in law. I say no one has never got paid for black people except the person that created them. I said black people is only owed is that the people created them. The only people that's going to ever get reparations for something that was created is the person that created them. Why? Because blacks don't have no rights. Black, you were written as chattel. Who? In the president's chattel. I don't care about before 1866. That's why I be telling these Negroes, that 14th Amendment Negro, I got documents showing you that the brothers was like, we ain't rocking with that. Brothers don't know about manumissions, about the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th Amendment. When I say it have to be some things that we agree on, we have to know who we are. And when we know who we are, then we can go farther. It's black has no standing in law. It's civil to mortis. Black has no standing in law. And this what I be trying to tell my brothers and sisters. I said we have to wake up. And I don't care what's going on with Trump. Yes, he's outlandish, but Trump don't really know what he's doing. But the Pandora box is open. The Pandora box is open, brothers and sisters, and that's all that's all I wanted to share with everyone. I know my empress calling, but yeah, man, ask yourself those two questions: our nationality and our spirituality. But I love all my brothers and sisters, but in that biblical scripture, when these so-called people went to Canaan land and killed all the Chaldeans and slaughtered everybody, killed all the babies, who were them? What is? So that's what the Israelites do? And then jump right in Deuteronomy, and then when somebody put you in bondage or put you in slavery, not me. I'm just saying, then we're going to say, did Deuteronomy in this? I'm just asking brothers and sisters questions, because we should ask questions. We should be looking at this when a person try to argue and tell you who you are. It's one nationality in many cultures. And we have to be able to agree to some things. And I'll give another analogy. Think about this: from love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and honesty. The thing that I like about order and God men in the flesh that do something in the communities. That's why I'm fighting so hard to get my first temple in school in my neighborhood, in my city, in my community, because I respect what Elijah Muhammad did and how the Nation of Islam respect Elijah Muhammad, how they can, compare him to Elijah in the biblical scriptures. What God man in the flesh done what he done in Detroit and got schools and hospitals and grocery stores. Nobody's Messiah done that. Nobody, no disrespect. Nobody Jesus done that. Nobody done those works in neighborhoods. Brothers go to prison and be cleaned up. You know what I mean? And even when Noble Drew Ali done it, got temples. Because the Moorish Science Temple is still in the neighborhood right now. And now here it is, I'm back to my city to bring my temple and school in the city and plant my flag. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to put the call out and plant my flag. And we can do this right in the city of Flint. But I respect that. I respect that for melanated man that's done the work, cleaning brothers up, teaching them who they are. And I can take it to a whole nother level of understanding because the information is here. And that's all I wanted to say to my brothers and sisters, man. I love y'all. It's time to do solidarity, man. And we can do anything because everything is possible. And we made in the image of God. But we can't let nobody tell us who we are and why they out here being hateful and angry, because we should be way past that. We should be on the level of unifying. We shouldn't be talking about who nobody else is and we don't know who we are. To me, that doesn't make any sense. I don't care about nobody else. We should be caring who we are. And until we be able to sit down and come to a level head and do that, that's what it's all about. And it's all about solidarity, man. So until then, man, I love y'all. Gratitude, peace, love, and light.